everyone, this is an August 2021 Danger Chaos Thunder Dragon deck profile. I realized that I did a profile of Pure Thunder pretty recently, but this build now is significantly different and frankly much better than the Pure version. This is still not an overly powerful deck by any means, but at least this deck can compete to some degree and usually produces a somewhat decent first turn field. My build here, I think it's fairly unique because I didn't include any Dragon Engine cards, so no Red Eyes, Darkness Metal, no Brotor. It's also unique because I have no tuners or synchros in here at all. Actually, this deck, the way I have it is, it has a fairly small Chaos Engine because I really thought it was wiser to put more emphasis on the dangers. The problem with my Pure Thunder Dragon deck that I did a few months ago was that it could completely brick, not be able to produce anything at all, even with 5 or 6 cards in hand. In this deck, the dangers are a huge and very necessary help to drawing further into the deck and also setting up a graveyard. So again, I thought it would be a good idea to put many dangers in the deck. Keep in mind also that I wanted to keep this deck to 40 cards. So 3 Thunder Dragon. This card may have a short and simple effect, but it's actually very important in the deck for a few reasons. For one thing, it balances out the light and light to dark ratio. Also, it turns itself into 2 cards, which does allow you to use it for Aloof Lupine and summoning Titan, like I said in my last Thunder video. But additionally, it does give you a better shot having that extra card of not discarding the danger monster that you revealed. Also, you can plus off of this OG Thunder Dragon here and then cycle them back into the deck with Hawk, and then hopefully to draw more dangers and just have a better opening hand, better play. 3 Roars. So this is one that I play at 3 mainly because there are 3 Allure of Darkness in the deck, the way I have it, and also 2 Aloof Lupine. This card can recur from the graveyard in the banish pile, but for the most part, if you don't see Allure of Darkness or Aloof Lupine, then this is one that you want to discard off of the dangers if you do have it in your hand. Then maybe you can banish it to summon something like Wyver Burster, and then generally you are summoning Dark off the deck with Roar. So 3 Darks. Dark is important for being a quick effect in the hand to trigger Titan, but because there are dangers and chaos in this deck the way I have it now, Titan is not the only way that this deck can stand a chance. When you summon this card off Roar, you're gonna use it as link material, and then you're gonna be searching Matrix, Hawk, or Duo, depending on what the rest of your board looks like and the rest of your hand. 2 Matrix. So I have learned that this card can be cut to 2 because you can cycle them back into the deck with Thunder Dragon Fusion and then theoretically search another copy of itself again. This is an important card in the deck though, because it does give you a higher shot of having a quick effect Thunder in the hand, because remember, when Dark is banished or leaves the field, it cannot search Dark, but Matrix actually does search a copy of itself, so this just gives you a higher shot of having that way to trigger Titan. 1 Hawk. So this probably would be higher than 1 if dangers were not in the deck, but the thing is, with all the easy summons that happen off the dangers, you don't always need that extra summon off Hawk, and it can be preferable to search Matrix or Duo off Dark instead of Hawk. And the magical mallet type effect that you're doing with this card, typically not going to use that more than once in a duel. Duo. So this card can be most useful for being searchable off Dark. Levianeer and Chaos Creator, typically better cards than Duo, but sometimes you don't have access to Chaos space and you do need to banish cards in your graveyard and also get that extra summon, and then sometimes Dark is the only way that you can search anything, so Duo being searchable off Dark, very helpful. 2 Aloof Lupine. Like in Pure Thunder, this is a very strong card if you do open it alongside any Thunder monster, but especially Dark and Roar. But with dangers and chaos in the deck now too, I had to cut some ratios down. Aloof Lupine drops to 2, and similarly 1 Batteryman Solar. So this is a graveyard heavy deck, so this dump effect as a normal summon, it does fit well in the deck, especially if you do search this card later off of Thunder Dragon Fusion, when you have already banished much of your graveyard. With this card, you can build up your graveyard once again. So dangers, 3 Mothman. I really decided to go heavy on the dangers. Like I said, without them, the deck can potentially do nothing. So really, if your opening hand has no danger monsters, it's probably not the ideal hand. Of course, with dangers, there's a lot of luck involved too, but I thought I would go very heavy on these dangers. So one of a lot more here. So even with all of these in the deck, your starting hand, it could still brick just because the way luck works, but the chances are much lower with these in the deck. I even included some of the weaker ones like Ogopogo and Thunderbird because their first effects, the dangers, the summon and draw effect, it's still very strong. So even these weaker ones are still quite good. And Chupacabra, in my opinion, underrated danger monster because it's a good one to have at 1. If you draw it later off of a previous danger, you can summon. It's pretty much a guaranteed summon from the graveyard. So I like Chupacabra. So Chaos, 1 Levianeer. If you're going first, you are probably going to use this card's hand interruption effect or hand discard effect, which is or hand messing with effect, which is easier to do because there are majority darks in this deck. And of course, this card's pop effect helps to go second too. This is just a staple card in the Chaos lineup. 1 Chaos Creator. So this card only requires 1 light and dark to be summoned, unlike Levianeer. And there are more chances that you'll have 1 light and 1 dark and monsters in the banish zone rather than 3 lights in the graveyard to get that summon effect off of Levianeer. So this is a more guaranteed way to put more monsters on the field and to have that extra summon. And it can make the difference between just a Masquerena and a Verte Anaconda on the field with some extra monsters, or those 2 link monsters plus an additional Appaloosa. So this extra summon can make the difference between you know, an extra interruption on your side of the field. 1 Valkyria. So this card most useful for being able to banish just 1 of either a light or a dark. In a 40 card deck though, I felt that this is fine at 1. Wyvern Burster and Collapse Serpent. So these cards are extremely strong because they search each other. If you have some kind of graveyard, having 1 of these in the hand usually means that you have 2 additional summons this turn because you can summon them both. Observe that my Chaos lineup, it's pretty small with only 5, possibly 6 monsters. I have it this way because even though these 2 cards in Creator and Levianeer, they are great, you may be able to imagine how opening Chaos cards and Thunders with no dangers at all in your hand can feel because you have no graveyard. There's really not much you can do. Honestly, you could even take out Valkyria and put in something like Danger Dogman or another one of any of the dangers. So 3 Allure of Darkness. Awesome card in this deck because it does banish Dark and Roar and also the rest of the dark monsters. However, this deck, it can't play cards like Desires, Extravagance, so just 3 Allures sometimes doesn't feel like enough draw power, which kind of does reinforce the fact that dangers are a very necessary part of this deck. 2 Chaos base. Trying to keep it to 40 cards, I did cut this to 2. You don't necessarily need to see any Chaos cards in your hand to make a good board. Really, the dangers, as I've said many times, are the most crucial part of this deck. Also, if you've seen my past profiles, I like to build decks in preparation for longer duels with only 5, possibly 6 search options. It is possible to draw this card later on and have no targets left, similar to how you might want to play 2 normal monsters if you're playing 3 unexpected die. So I cut Chaos Base for those reasons to 2. 2 Thunder Dragon Fusion. I have also learned that this card can be cut to 2 like Matrix because between 2 of these and 1 instant fusion, you could potentially summon all 3 Titans. However, some people choose to play only 1 of this card to be sent off Verte Anaconda. I wouldn't do that personally because if you open this card, you sometimes do want to open this card because you can save your materials for other monsters instead of Verte Anaconda. So 2 is good in my humble opinion. Instant Fusion and Gold Sarcophagus, just staples in this deck. And I am hoping to pick up the new Ready Fusion, which hopefully won't be above a super rare, so I don't have to, pay $5 trillion for it. Extra deck, 3 Titan. So still a strong boss monster if you do happen to have Thunders left over in the hand at the end of the turn, quick effects preferably. With the dangers in here though, it is possible to discard the quick effect ones. So if you don't have Matrix or Dark left in hand and you can't search them, it may be better to use Titan as link material rather than leaving it on the field. And then Kaminari attack, so hopefully with Ready Fusion I can bump this up to 2 or even 3. That would make the Titan play a lot more consistent. So we got Link Haribo. Sometimes you are normal summoning Matrix, so you do need to search the second one. This is how you would send it to the graveyard easily. Link Spider, so this is for the Batteryman Solar token, and you'll just use this card to make a stronger monster. Verte Anaconda, so this makes summoning Titan a lot more consistent, but it does pretty much end your turn afterwards. Masquerena, so this card works very well with Verte Anaconda and kind of gets around Verte's restriction because you can just make that link summon that you would have made after Titan on your opponent's turn instead, usually using Masquerena and Verte Anaconda both as materials. Cross Sheep, this card can sometimes be a good option to land you a field that is 1 monster bigger than it would have been if you just went into Masquerena instead, bringing back something like Matrix or one of the lower level dangers. Phoenix Unicorn, just as always very good cards to go with Masquerena and then by themselves too. Unchained Abomination, so this card seems to be a great fit in the deck because it works with Titan, but I do feel that it is kind of a win more card, and a lot of times it would be better to go into Appaloosa or Borrelsword, depending on where you are in the game. Appaloosa, so unless you only have the materials to make Titan or just a Masquerena and 1 more monster for the Unicorn quick summon, Appaloosa is generally what you want to make pretty much every time you go first. It is the most generic boss monster and is how you get the bulk of your interruptions on the field. Borrelsword, so I just like Borrelsword in pretty much every deck that can play it, so I put it in here. And then we got this card, Underworld Goddess, so running this card, it does give you another option for Masquerena and potentially another form of interruption. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, see ya.